It's my absolute pleasure to be here today. I will be at all your Scottish Success Days this year because I think they have a really, really great feel to them. And also because there are empty seats that I'm going to personally fill. So, but I have been sat there almost frustrated. I've said to the guys that I've been sat with, like, this is insane. Does anyone know how many people live in Scotland? 5.2 million? 5.2 million people. And between us all, we've managed to scrape together about 250. It's a shocker. So, not to beat you down, but it's true. What we're not doing is we're not doing the basics enough. And what you're already doing is fantastic. Your number one area, so you're doing it right. We just need to do a little bit more of it. And sometimes that can be from confidence. Sometimes it can be not completely believing in yourself. Sometimes it can be that you don't really quite grasp what you're sat on. And what you're sat on is an incredible opportunity, especially because you live where you do. So I'm going to talk to you about building your contact list today, which I think is the foundation of all of our businesses. And anyone in my team will tell you that before a planning meeting, I will say, send me a picture of your who do you know list. Or if I'm sat on a Skype or I say, bring your who do you know list with you. Because if they haven't got one, I can't work with them. So as soon as I set up a new FBO, in their first meeting with me, talking about first steps to manager, the only to-do list that they go away with is to write out their who do you know list. And then we set up a second meeting. Before that second meeting, I'll pop them a message the day before saying, did you get what you had to get done? Well, I started it. I said, okay, well, let's change the meeting. When is it going to be complete? Because that's when we can start work. Because you're in the business of network marketing. Do you agree? You need a network to market to. It doesn't matter how big or small that network is initially. We'll teach you how to build it. I'm going to talk to you about that. But you need to have that network written down. Even if you want to retail the products, you still need to have a list. So if you're sat there thinking, oh yeah, I've never really done a list, make that. If this is the only thing you take from today, do your list. Because I promise you, it is sickening when you attend one of these and somebody walks across that stage that you know. So recently I spoke at an event and I was really honest and said, when I used to hear Jane give an example of, somebody she knew turned up at a BP and I thought, oh my gosh, that would never happen to me. It happened to me. And it's sickening, but what's more sickening is when you work out how much that costs you. And there's a lovely lady, she's an Eagle manager, Yvette Leister, who should have been on my who do you know list. I didn't know her, I'd never met her, but I knew of her because I went to school with her husband, as did my sister. So I give her a bit more of a nudge, like it should have been on her list before it was on mine. But he wasn't on my list. I didn't expand my who do you know list well enough, and I didn't contact him. So when I'm stood at Success Day and over a sea of people, because I just finished speaking, I see this beautiful woman. And when you have that, oh my God, I know you, moment. And she had 2 sashes around her neck, so that means she'd been promoted twice in 8 weeks. She's doing pretty well. I'm like, do I know you? And she said, oh no, I don't know you, but my husband does. I was like, oh, what's his name? And she was like, Jamie. I'm like, oh, amazing. So who did you join? I was looking for her flag. I'm like, she doesn't have a flag. She's not on my team. Oh my God. So I said, oh, who did you join? And she said, oh, well, I went to like a craft fair kind of thing. There was a stall there. And she joined the lovely, lovely Julie Richards. But Julie was there. Do you know what I mean? She was putting in the groundwork. She was at a stall. That's where you meet people. So she joined, and she's a manager, an Eagle manager. And I worked out over the next 10 years, I've lost out from not working my list right, £1 million plus. I feel absolutely fine about it. So, £1 million. And I don't think I've got enough, I'm fine now, I'm sorted for life thanks to Forever in the last 3 years. But I feel like I've let my son down. It's not for me, it's the legacy I'll leave behind me. I've let him down. I will not let that happen again. So tell everybody, but start by doing your list first. We're in the profession of network marketing. So you have to not only have a network, which you'll know more than a couple of people when you start, but you've got to be able to build a network as well. You see, this is where you have to really learn some skills in talking to people, because it's actually really simple. I was sat with a few guys last night, we were talking about, what would you say to that person? I'm like, oh, it's easy. You can strike up a conversation, but that is a skill. It's not something that everybody naturally possesses. So don't be hard on yourself if you think like, oh, I just don't know what to say to people. That's fine. You can learn. There are lots and lots of magic words that you can use, but it's practicing. And that's the amazing thing in our company. You can't join with an amazing degree and that means you're successful. We all start on a level playing field. And if you're willing to learn and to build some new skills, then you'll be super successful. You've just got to start doing it because we learn as we do. So why have some people then not done a list? Oh, I don't know anyone. Really? Make some friends then. You will know somebody. You will know some people. In fact, by the age of 18, on average, you will know 500 people by name and they will know you by name. So if your list is 200, you haven't expanded it enough. You haven't thought about it and taken it seriously enough, because it's a really, really serious task that we have to do. Oh, all my friends are on my Facebook. I don't need to write them down. Really? Because how are you going to keep track? This is a business. It is not something to just play around with. You know, your network is not on Facebook. It's a great way of networking. It's a great way of keeping your friends all in one area, but not everybody is on Facebook. If someone joins your business and they're not on Facebook, how are you going to coach them? So you've got to be able to naturally network. But all your network won't be on Facebook. My family and friends aren't interested, don't worry. Neither were mine. But now I have 2 chairman's bonus legs, which are my brother and my sister. They eventually come round. Not all of them. My dad's still horrendous. But really horrendous. And people say, really? I'm like, yes. I paid him back £125,000 after my first year in Forever. And all he said, I'll never forget it, sat on the sofa at this lovely Christmas lodge I paid for them to come to. He went, I said, "Are you pleased, Dad? Isn't that amazing? I saved that." And he was like, "Oh, I never thought I'd see it again." That was it. I'm like, Dad, I paid you back. I never thought you'd see it again either, to be honest. Or I've spoken to everybody, nobody's interested. It's a classic, right? It's a classic. And actually, when you look at it, you haven't spoken to everybody, or you haven't spoken to them in the right way, or you haven't built a solid enough relationship first, in the first instance with them, to approach the business in the right way. So there is always a reason to do a list. And it's about the long haul. This is not about come in, earn a lot of money, and get out again. This is about a business for life. And I really hope you kind of get that throughout the day. I'm in it for the long haul. Like, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like a really nice community. Don't get me wrong, I work flipping hard, but I really, really enjoy it. And that's the difference. If you look at some of these people on here, and you look how long it took them to join, is it worth sticking at it? It took me 4 years to join. I said no. And then I ignored her follow-ups for 4 years. Kyle, my brother, I was not allowed to mention Forever in the house when Kyle was at home because he lived in London. When he came home, he said to me and my mum, because my mum joined, he said to me and my mum, like, Forever has ruined our lives. It's all you talk about. I was like, no, actually, it hasn't ruined my life. It's made my life. And he's like, yeah, you know what I mean, though. Like, you just don't shut up about it. I just don't want to hear about it. And I was like, fine. And when he eventually rang me and said, hey, Ems, this might sound really weird, but I need 6 hours of your time. I'm coming back home on Monday. Sit down, give me 6 hours. Explain to me exactly what I'm going to have to do. I'm starting Forever. And I was like, really? He said, yeah, I'm on it. And I said, okay, fine. I'll give you 2 hours. And I will do less for you than I've done for anyone else, because you've given me so much grief over the last 18 months. And you can crack on. And he did, to be fair. I did less for Kyle, less for Nicola than anyone else in my team, to be fair. And they've completely just gone and done it. Tamsin, it took her 6 months. She must have had about 8 one-to-ones. And eventually, she's an old friend from school. Eventually, she said to me, Em, So can we meet again? And I was like, no, Tamsin. Beep, off. I'm not wasting any more of my time meeting up. You either join and I'll meet you then, or forget it. So she was like, oh, right, okay then. So how do I sign up? I was like, okay, here's a form. I'm not speaking to you anymore about it. You either join or you don't. Like, I can't explain it any further. So she just joined. A couple of these people I didn't know before. I met them when I was out and about. And you have to appreciate that it takes time. Networking isn't a quick fix. You don't say, well, do you want to join my team? Yes. And that's easy. We all wish it was as easy as that. But if it was as easy as that, think about it logically. We just all leave here right now. We go, do you want to join my team? Yeah. Do you want to join my team? Yeah. Do you want to join? Then it'd be saturated. Then you wouldn't be able to have enough seats in here to accommodate everybody. So you don't want it to be that easy and everybody to say yes. You need people to say no. Otherwise, we'll have no one to retail to, and everyone's an FBO. So you've got to take some of the no's. It's going to be hard to hear sometimes. People that you think, oh, you'd be so good. They don't see it yet. Yet. You just have to be patient with it and know that you're doing enough of the groundwork that it all comes around. So the first thing you have to do is to do that who do you know list. Write it on the top of your pads if you haven't done it fully and extensively. This is not just some names on a sheet, fully and extensively. That's what it has to be done. It's time this year now to really start treating this like a business, especially if you haven't already. And those of you who are doing really well, you can definitely be doing a lot more. And I'm going to do that this year. I'm back in the saddle. I'm working harder, just like I did in the first 2 years. Why? Because I want to show my team. And that's why you do it. You want to, if you haven't got a team member yet, you want to show the people that are watching you that, look, yeah, I've put in some hard work. It's not too good to be true, but look how rewarding it is. That's all I did. What you'll find then is people will start following you within your team. We'll have lots and lots of success stories here in Scotland, and everybody wants to be a part of it. Well, not everybody, but you know. Stick to it for long enough, they all come around, believe me. So, print off the Who Do You Know list template. It's important that you don't write your list in a pad, you don't put it on a spreadsheet, no matter how computer techy you are. It has to be handwritten, not print off of your Facebook friends, handwritten on the Who Do You Know list template, because everything we do in our business has to be duplicatable. Not everybody can use a computer, but everybody can sit and write names down onto a Who Do You Know list template. Make sure you have that, because when you start to build a team, this is a system. And this is why, like Jane's team, QLS Down, is so successful because of their systems. Write them down, and when you're writing them down, give them just a second's thought. So you've got a comment section on the right-hand side. Give them a second's thought of why might they be interested. Or, you know, people say, oh, no, they're already like really successful, they earn a lot of money, so why would you not tell them? I know a lot of people like that. You have to let go of the outcome, don't judge anybody, and write everybody down on that list. I'm going to go through this a bit quickly, but on our first steps to manager slides, you will find this. It's a great memory jogger. There's also one, if you go on to Google and just Google Eric Worre, I think it's network marketing memory jogger. There's an amazing kind of workbook to go through. You don't have to buy it. You can just read it online. It's fantastic. That's really good for extending your list. And it's going to be everybody that you've ever come across. Even if you can't think of a way of contacting them right now, just put them down. Like I had a guy on mine at the beginning, chip shop guy. I didn't know his name, but every time I went into the chippy, I spoke to him and he was really friendly. So then I was like, right, I need to go to the chippy and find out what his name is and tell him about the business. You know, so everybody that you've met. So, as well as your who to know list, as well as your warm list, you have to be adding to your list consistently. So I spoke to 5 new people a day, every single day, for the first 2 years in my business. You work out the maths, 5 people a day for 365 days of the year. I did not have a day off. And if I was to offer you a job, and I love this example, if I was to offer you all a job right now, and I said, I'm not going to pay you for the first 2 years, but if you speak and offer the business to 2 people a day for the next 2 years, at the end of that 2 years, I'll pay you 100 grand a year for the rest of your life. Who's taking me up on my job offer? You would. It doesn't matter if they say yes or no. Just ask 2 people to take a look at your opportunity. That's it. That's all you've got to do. But anybody in life, in anything, is that consistent, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. I have never, ever, in those 2 years, I never, ever, ever missed a day. Never. It was habit. Even now, when I don't have to build at that rate, but even now, I feel guilty if I don't speak to people. And quite honestly, because I feel like if somebody hadn't had the courage to offer me the opportunity, what my life would look like right now is not worth thinking about. You're offering someone an incredible opportunity. And even if you found your business a bit challenging so far, they might be a whole lot better than you. And believe me, you want them in your team. So you let go of it. Loads of different types of activity to build your list. So I stick with 5 forms of activity regularly on a weekly basis. I do my 5 forms of activity. Contact marketing is when you're speaking to people just out and about. And I very much just make friends. Simply just make friends, with the aim being to add them onto Facebook. And at a later stage, sometimes I'll tell them straight away if it's appropriate. I'll just say, you'd be great at what I do. And they say, what do you do? And I say, I'll send you over some information. Are you on Facebook? Yes. Add yourself here. That's it. Literally as simple as that. There are lots and lots of different ways of starting conversations. I think there's quite a few trainings. Andy Waring has a great CD as well about talking to people. So make sure you're pulling at all these little bits of learning tools that you can, that will teach you how to do it incredibly well. Carding, which is going out, like handing out cards. Leafleting, flyering, tabletops. As we know, that's how Yvette joined. She walked into the craft fair, I waved goodbye to £1 million. Adverts, it's doing the basics. So get down to your local newsagents, pop a card in the window, advertise in the free magazine that goes around in your community. Get yourself out there to tabletops for meeting people. I never think of tabletops for selling a lot of product. I don't. It's about building my contact list. And sometimes as a result, I sell product. And sometimes as a result, I make lots of new friends. What stops us doing that is when we sit and procrastinate and we're sat there thinking, yeah, I know what I really should do. And you might go away from here today thinking, right, that's it, I'm doing it, I'm filling that auditorium myself next time. They're all going to be my team. And then you start thinking, oh, yeah, but she said no. And oh, yeah, but I haven't got time to do my who do you know list. Oh, yeah, but, well, I've kind of done it, but it's not quite right. But stop thinking. Stop judging who the business is for or not. Stop thinking about if you're good enough, if you can have a good enough conversation. Start doing it and you'll start learning. And all we have to do is those simple 2 things, which is sharing the opportunity and sharing the products. Luckily, it doesn't take a genius to do those things, because otherwise I'd be rubbish. However, if we do those simple things on a daily basis, find your constant. Don't think like, oh, one day I'm going to speak to 30 people and the next day nobody. Find a constant that you're happy with and stick with it. So if that is, I can do an hour a day. Do an hour a day every single day. Don't miss it. You have to keep consistent with it. And so you're almost telling your subconscious, like, this is a business. This is my time to work. And you get it done. And there's no excuses. If you say you're speaking to 2 new people a day, add into your list, you'll have nearly 800 people on your list, 800 more people on your list by the end of the year. Don't miss a day. Don't think, well, I've done 1. Oh, I'll do 3 tomorrow. Be strict with yourself. And what's most important, I think, especially this year, is going to be whoever builds that list the quickest, going to be the people on this stage next year. And in fact, before next year, it'll happen pretty quickly, because when the momentum kicks in, when you're doing the right activities of building your list, speaking to new people. I mean, since I've been in Scotland, like, nobody knows about Forever. It's mental. You might think they do because you're sat in your little Facebook world and everybody on your Facebook is probably all your Forever friends. You think, scrolling through, oh, everyone's doing it. Oh, yeah, and everyone do it. No, everyone is not doing it, clearly. Everyone I've spoken to since I've been here, nobody has ever heard of Forever. That speaks volumes. So unless you lot get out there and tell those 5.2 million people, then I'm going to move to Scotland. I'm going to clear up. On a serious note, you have to understand the potential of what you're looking at. And if so far in your business you haven't quite taken it seriously enough, I would encourage each and every one of you to make this the year that you make forever a business in your life. And you treat it with the respect that it deserves, because I promise you, you do the basics like this and the rewards are never ending. Thank you.